Thank you all for coming. Let me begin by saying that, for those of you who has my books, who knows who I am? Who among you was dragged here and doesn't know what I do? That's all right. Fine. Okay. What's your name? Yeah. What's that? Mitza. Okay, Mitza. My name's Max Brooks, and I write about zombies. And I wrote this book called Zombie Survival Guide, and I wrote another one called World War Z. There you go. And I have this new one out, which is it's a graphic adaptation of some of the stories from Zombie Survival Guide. Okay. Now, Mikva. Mitza. Yes. Right. There you go. Zombie Survival Guide is you'll find it in the humor section. There's a reason for that we'll get into later. But just so you know, there is nothing funny about being killed and eaten by zombies. Okay? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, how to survive. So this is your chance. I'm sure there's plenty of other entertainment in this town. Carrot Top, you know. So you know why you're here. All right, let's get to work, folks. So, people ask me initially, why zombies? To which, obviously, the response is, duh. But you can't say that because we're here to save lives. So let's talk about why they are such a threat. The main reason is that they come to you. All right? Every other monster, you have to go find. You have to go to the desert, or the swamp, or under the pyramid, or the ruins. Who saw that movie, by the way? Ruins? Okay, those of you who haven't, oh, you saw, okay. Well, those of you who haven't, starts teenagers in Cabo, and this weird German dude comes up and he says, yeah, there's ruins that no one's ever gone to, and it's like way out there, and no one knows where it is, and why don't you all go? And they go, sure, and then they go. And in my opinion, if you do that, you forfeit sympathy. I'm sure you've heard of the crocodile hunter. Okay, and the tragic demise. All right. Well, it was sad, but I don't know if it was really tragic. Let's not lose sight of the fact that at the end of the day, he was a crocodile hunter. All right? Nobody drafted him to do that. He didn't one day go to the mailbox and get a draft notice from the Ministry of Crocodile Hunting and go, oh, crikey. There was a point in his life where he sat down with his high school guidance counselor and he said, you know, I'd like to spend the rest of my life poking dangerous animals with a stick. That was his choice. Now, had he chosen otherwise, maybe he had just been Steve Irwin, the tax attorney, and he was one night sitting at home, watching TV, grilling shrimps on the Barbie, and there was a knock at the door, and he said, oh, I'll get it. And he went over, and he opened the door, and there was a stingray, and it jumped out and stabbed him in the heart. That would have been tragic. And that's the problem with zombies. They come to you. They don't care if you're a cute teenage girl or the token black guy or whatever. They don't care who you voted for in the White House or American Idol. They're coming to you. And they're coming to you in the millions. All right? If one zombie came in here right now, this latecomer, she'd hit him with the purse and we'd go on with the lecture. One zombie, not a problem. But they come in the millions. And that is another one of theirs. So exactly. This is the problem with zombies. They are a global threat. And we live in a global society. And nowhere in the world, ironically, is this more prevalent than right here, in the middle of the desert, where there just happens to be a city for no reason. All right, this city depends on the outside world. More than most, but most do. And it's been happening a long time, all right? Obama had nothing to do with it. We've been global for a long time. Trade and dependency. And when the dead rise, that is gone. And we are going to need to have a whole new set of rules to survive. And the first thing we need to do is divest ourselves of myths that have been propagated by the media. Who has seen, I don't know, the new Dawn of the Dead? Remake? Yeah, okay. Who's played Left 4 Dead, Resident Evil? Okay. All right. I hope you all, well, I hope those guys who raised their hand got a girlfriend before they raised their hand. But I hope that you all understand that all of this is meant for entertainment. All right? They just want to make money. They're not trying to save your life the way I am. All right? That's purely entertainment. And let's talk about most zombie movies. As in most movies, you do something in fiction where you have to build in drama, all right, to make an interesting story. Otherwise, you would never have a movie. See? Yeah, interesting. Here. So, if you had a movie of, let's say, an abandoned summer camp somewhere out in the wilderness, and some teenagers went up there and they said, "What was that? I heard something. I don't know what it is. What should we do?" Well, let's turn on all the lights and get on our cell phones and call our parents, and we'll wait till dawn, and then we'll all get in the car and we'll go home. That's what they should do. That would be a 10-minute movie. So you have to build in drama. You have to say, "What was that? I don't know. Biff, you go check it out by yourself. And Mitzi, you go take a shower with your headphones on, and we'll go in this room and fornicate." And that's drama. And you have to do that. But those aren't exactly lessons for survival. You see? Yeah. He gets it now. Oh, okay. Now, for those of you who were brave enough to admit that you played Left 4 Dead and Resident Evil, okay, I hope you all realize that when the dead rise, it's not going to be like that. Okay, there's not going to be random weapons and ammo just sort of scattered. Vehicles that you just happen to find and know how to operate. And most importantly, and some of you, as I say this, are going to be like, really? Yes, there aren't going to be little boxes with red crosses on them that you touch and they disappear and suddenly you're healed. Now, sir, there's something that may make you feel that way. And this is America, and if you want to fight zombies on crack, go for it. But this is what I'm talking about we have to get real and we have to get logical, okay? And unfortunately, many of the tenets of undead survival may seem unpalatable. Because throughout human history, many good, decent, logical ideas are hijacked by extremists and perverted to such a point that not only are they so repugnant to most of us, we've forgotten where they originally came from in the first place. And that's the same thing in this, because many reasonable, logical, decent, life-saving ideas in this country have been hijacked, twisted, and perverted by hippies. Those filthy. Those creatures. If I say to you, well, now things have changed. Thank God we're getting away. But if I had said to you 5 years ago, if I had said, hey, energy from the wind and the sun. You'd say, oh yeah, from Mother Earth, man. And if I had said, hey, food, it should come from where we are, and when we grow with our hands, you'd be like, oh yeah, growing like the hippies. Yeah, armpit hair. No! This is the problem. We've got to get past all of these ideas, because let me tell you something. those hippies didn't hijack those ideas by accident. All right? They want us to run screaming from that. So when the dead rise, they are the only ones left standing. And ladies and gentlemen, if you learn nothing else tonight, this must not happen. So this is what I mean about thinking realistically. For example, can someone shout out what's the most important asset you'll need in a zombie outbreak?
Machete.
Shotgun, machete, yeah. You guys live in a desert, come on. You are not going to be shooting your shotgun or swinging your machete all the time. But you're going to be losing moisture all the time. All right? And I know in a zombie movie, you've never seen someone go, oh, wait a minute. Oh my God, I'm so dehydrated. I got such a headache. You go on. Oh. But that's what's going to happen. This is what I mean by being logical and rational. And because this is America, let's talk about one of the great pillars of our democracy, guns. Now, I'm assuming that all of you here are gun owners. Yes, yes, the guy dressed in black with a skid head. Yeah! I know what skid out meant. But I want you to think about what kind of firearm you would want. Who said shotgun? Be brave. The girl. What's your name?
Patty.
All right, Patty. Look, no, it's all right. Patty, here's the problem with a shotgun. Patty, guns don't kill people. And people don't kill people either. Bullets kill people. All right? And the problem is the gun isn't a weapon. It's just a launcher. All right? The bullet is the weapon. And so you have to think, how many bullets can I possibly carry? All right? Patty, there's 300 million Americans. Okay? I don't know how many Mexicans. And a lot more Canadians than they want us to know. So when you put all of that together, even the most wow, even he couldn't have enough bullets. So this is the problem. So let's say you're on the move. A shotgun shell, even a 20 gauge, even the one that Cheney shot the guy in the face with, it was pretty big. So you gotta think, well, what about a little 22 rimfire? All right? And it's little, light, you can carry a bunch of them. Okay, so that's what I want you to think about. And here's the thing, Patty. Ideally, you don't even want a firearm. Because first of all, every time you fire it, you're announcing to the dead, hey, here I am. Those of you who are within earshot, and I taste really good, come on. So that's the problem anyway. But firearms have their place, and not against zombies. Because when the dead rise, there's going to be another threat, at least in the initial outbreak. And that threat is America's greatest natural resource, the yahoos. And they are people who just cannot wait to shoot everybody in the head. And they've been waiting for this for so long. And they will be out there shooting at everything that moves. And they're not going to ask you. They're not going to say, Patty, are you alive or dead? They're just going to blow you away no matter what. So that's why you have to be ready for them. Okay, so think about this. Guns, not for zombies, but for Ted Nugent. But see, this is what I mean. Logically, against the living dead, what you need is a hand-to-hand combat weapon. Or to those of you who play Warcraft, a melee weapon. One guy laughed a little too loud. That is you need a melee weapon. You need something that doesn't need to be reloaded. Okay? That's the thing. You need a blade, or if you're a big dude, you can use a sledgehammer, whatever, warhammer, maul, whatever the dwarves call it. But the thing is, when choosing one, you've got to be very careful, because a lot of these weapons that you see, if you go online and, a falchion, whatever, a rapier, a scimitar, those are not meant to be used, okay? Those are made for young men who live with their parents, who put it up on the wall, and somehow have this fantasy that if they ever do meet a woman and bring her home, she will be impressed by that. So stay away from those, even the ones that say battle ready, okay? Some of you right here have something that I know that's battle ready. No, it's Renaissance Fair ready. So stay away from that stuff. And then you're probably asking, well, then where do I get my warhammer, or my battle axe, or my scimitar? Well, the good part is that most hand weapons, before the advent of gunpowder, were not weapons. They were designed to be tools. All right? Most people who fought in wars were not knights or samurai or these elite people. They were just peasants. And they only had one thing that they had to work with all day, and then they got drafted and that thing became a weapon. All right? At some point in the forests of primeval Norway, Sven Bjorn Svensson was chopping the tree, and Knud Hansen said, Sven, we gotta go, there's a raid, and he was like, I don't have a weapon, Odin's balls! And Knud was like, hey, Sven, careful with that axe, you can hurt somebody. He was like, yeah! And the battle axe was born. So someone was like, yeah, okay. So the moral of this is, when you are looking for your melee weapon, do not look online or at some of the knife shop in the mall, okay? Just go to Home Depot. You want a battle axe? They got an axe. You want a warhammer? They got a warhammer. You want a sword? They got a machete. And these things are all meant to be used. And ladies, if you do go to a young man's house and he has a machete on the wall and he wants to impress you with it, that's a deal breaker. So that's what I mean about hand weapons. Now let's talk about the other great pillar of our society, the motor vehicle. Okay? I'm from LA. We practically just built the city out of cars. That's just all we have. What do you think would be the ideal motor vehicle? Bicycle. Oh, see, there we go. Legs. Yours? Okay. You need to build a car out of legs. Okay. No, but that's a very good point, because here's the thing about motor vehicles. How many people here are licensed mechanics? You and the baby. This is what I mean. Cars have moving parts, a lot of them. And it only takes one to break, and then you're out of luck. Cars also need gas. Now in LA, people go, well, I drive a hybrid. Great, you can go twice as far, and then you run out of gas. Because that's the problem. Car, gas. Out of gas, feces out of luck. And until they invent a car that runs on fear, what all of you said about bicycles is perfect. It's light, it's easy to repair, you pick it up, carry it over the police barricade, and you're fine. Now this means we all have to get in shape, and I know that's a little sacrilegious in this country, but you've never seen someone in a zombie movie running and suddenly get, oh my God, oh, I just crapped my pants. But that's exactly what you will do if you're not in shape. Okay? You can't cram for a zombie outbreak. You got to start prepping now. And that's what I mean. When you prep, very important, you can't do it alone. And I know, sacrilege in this country. The individual is Rambo, okay? Right, Rambo is, okay. First of all, Rambo never had testicular cancer. Because if he did, he'd need Dr. Schwartzman, who's maybe not as good with an M60, but Dr. Schwartzman will save his life. And that's what I'm talking about. We're putting together your zombie group. All right, those of you who play World of Warcraft, you already understand. You need your fighter and your paladin and your wizard and your ranger, and you all have to have a different, wilderness law and cure light wounds. The rest of you, with lives, you will need a broad cross-section of skills that you will need to survive. Okay? Not everybody can be the crossbow guy. Okay? We have one mechanic in the room. Okay, well, he's going to be high on the list. You need someone who knows how to grow something. You need someone who knows how to fix electrical things. Someone who knows how to build a house. Someone who knows, oh, that plant is good. That plant will give you diarrhea and kill you. So this is why you need to establish your group now. Start talking when you go home tonight. And most importantly, this is why Zombie Survival Guide is in the humor section. Because if you run home tonight and you say to your friends and family, oh my God, Max Brooks, it's zombies and they're coming and we have to arm ourselves, that's not going to go over very well. So what you do is, you throw the book down, you be cool, do your best Jim from The Office impression. Friend says, what's that? Oh, Zombie Survival Guide. I saw this guy Max Brooks tonight. He's funny. And not that funny, but he's talking about when you were doing a zombie outbreak. I know. That's stupid. I know. You got just weapons and tactics, and he just goes way. This guy had way too much free time. What would you do? And that's how it starts. Bit by bit, you'll get to know your group. And this is important. It's funny, in all my other lectures all around this great nation, I say, when you establish your group, make sure that you like the people in your group, you can hang with them. And I say, if you can't survive a road trip to Vegas, you can't survive the apocalypse with this group. So I guess you guys will, I don't know, Des Moines? Try taking a road trip somewhere with a person. If you want to kill them by the end, that's pretty much how it's going to be when the dead rise. Alright, so you got to be very careful. And this is and ladies, this is very important for all of you. Alright? There's going to be a lot of men who's going to start talking to you, wanting you to join their group. And you may not have usable skills. And they don't care. And if that's okay with you, great. But just be warned. So this is what I mean. Now, people say, where are we going to go? And I want you to get away from what's called first thought. And what I mean by first thought is the first thing that pops in your head. Oh, well, I'll just go to Costco. And yeah, I'll just barricade it, and I'll have all the food and iPods, and I'll just play Nintendo while everyone outside dies. Don't laugh. People really think that way. The problem is if you think of it first, so has everybody else. Okay, people say, oh, I'm just going to go to my uncle's cabin in the wilderness. Okay, first of all, this is America in the 21st century. There is no wilderness. Okay? You're not just going to walk into just wild country and, oh, there's Jeremiah Johnson, and it doesn't work that way anymore. 300 million Americans spread out? No. We have national parks that look big and wide because nobody happens to be there at the time. Trust me, they'll be there. So when I say go, I mean go. Look at a map of this world. First, find America on it. You can do that, you're ahead of the curve. Second, look at where all the people are. The densely populated areas of this planet. Well, they're populated for a reason. Good good climate, access to clean water, whatever. But there's a reason. Then look at the part of the planet where there's nobody. There's a reason for that too. If you research that part of the planet and the first thing that pops into your head is, oh my God, I would never want to go there. That's where you go. All right? And you can't go on Z-Day. All right? You have to go before as a trip to check it out. Because trust me, the reason people aren't there is that it is the worst, harshest, densest wilderness in the world, and that will be your enemy. If you do your job right, you'll never see a zombie. But you will be fighting for your life every day. Who saw the movie or read the book Into the Wild? Alright. Those of you who haven't, it's about an a-hole who goes in the wilderness and dies. And that's it. Alright? He's young and strong. He's going to take on the world. And the world said, no, you won't. Because what he didn't understand, as he's talking to Vince Vaughn in the movie, Vince Vaughn, the pillar of wisdom that he is, he says, I just want to get away from society. Yeah, society is hard. Yeah, I just want to get away from society. Okay, what he did not understand was the whole reason we have society is not so people can hail cabs and cheat on their income tax. Okay? It's so we could get away from where he was going. Because it ain't a Disney movie. Alright? You're not going to wake up and the bird will tweet, tweet, no. You will be dead. For those of you who study human history, there is something called the 19th century. And the 19th century was a time littered with the corpses of white men who went to explore the rest of the world. And they didn't really explore because they got to places in very harsh climates they weren't used to, and they saw people already living there. And they said, well, they're primitive and brown and they don't know what they're doing. And they just trudged on, and then they got malaria, or their toes fell off in the cold, or whatever. They died. Don't do that. All right? Wherever you're going, there won't be a lot of people, but there might be a few. Get to know them. Okay? If you're going to go to the far north of Canada, make friends with the Nuktatuk and say, and be cool. Don't just be like, first of all, they're not called Eskimos, they're called Inuits. So just be like, oh, dude, that's cool. How do you butcher that seal? Yeah, wow. It's really cool, yeah. So then when you get up there, you know those skills. You know how to survive, all right? You're not eating your belt because you're so hungry. And have a plan. How are you going to get there? Oh, I'm going to go to the far north of Canada. Yeah, you know what? There's going to be something standing between you and that. And Canadians. And on Z-Day, they are going to call it Payback Day. So you better be really friendly. At least, be nice to some Canadian border guard now. So when you sneak through, you're just like, oh, Francois, monsieur beaucoup, oh yeah. And then you get through. So this is the kind of things you're going to have to think about. Prepare, planning, assembling your group, getting away from what you've seen in movies. It's going to be a lot of work. And I'm sure you all have a lot of questions. With the time I've got now, I'd like to open up the floor to your questions, if you have them. Who's going to go first? Wow, you have no social anxiety disorder.
Well, what would you do if you got bit by a zombie?
What would I do?
Yeah, what would you do?
Kiss my ass goodbye. Next question. In the back.
What do you think about fast zombies?
The question is fast zombies. Okay, what's your name?
Mike.
Mike, okay, Mike, there's a logical explanation for both. All right, slow zombies are based on the hypothetical scenario of necrotic flesh operating under extreme pressure and mobility. All right, and fast zombies suck. Yes.
Where are you going? I'm following.
Where am I going? Next question. Yes. most plausible? What's a okay, with air travel the way it is, we got some teenagers in Cabo. They go to the ruins. Zombie bites one of them on the ass. They immediately get on a plane, they fly home, and they reanimate right at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York. And that's the way it goes. Because with air travel, diseases can spread like that. Have you heard of Ebola Zaire? Anyone hear of that? Anyone hear of Ebola Sudan? Anyone ever hear of Ebola Reston, as in Reston, Virginia? Google it tonight. Sleep tight. Next one. Yes?
Is World War Z going to be a movie or a TV series?
Ah, yes, that's a good question. Is World War II going to be... Yeah. Sir, your guess is as good as mine. Let me explain something. Here's how it works. There's the executive producer. Actually, above him, there's the guy who runs the other corporation that owns the studio. Executive producer, director, actor, another actor, actor's agent, the guy who does the lighting and the cinematography and the sound, and the craft service table, and the guy who cleans up the porta potties, and then there's the screenwriter, and then there's the guy that wrote the book. Anyone else? Yes?
My son wants to know if it would really be helpful to live in the backseat or to wait to see if there's a zombie there.
Ah, you've seen Zombieland. You know what? It's based on a really great book called The Zombie Survival Guide. The thing about Zombieland, what's your name?
Jackson.
Jackson. Okay, Jackson, here's the thing. If you or any of the cast of Cheers are in a zombie outbreak, zombies are not going to hide. Alright, they don't do that. Okay, they're just, if you go up to a car, there's going to be a zombie trying to get out going, smearing his tongue on the window. Alright, they're not smart enough to be like, I'm just going to, That's, I don't know, vampires or something, whatever. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
What are your top weapons in zombie outbreak?
Oh, top weapons in zombie outbreak? Perfect. What's your name? Zane? Well, Zane, yeah, we met. All right, now Zane, listen. Here's Zane. You gotta think about what you could handle. Like, I personally probably wouldn't be good with a sledgehammer. Okay, I just don't have the bulk for that. So for me, I'd probably use like a machete. But in your group, Zane, and you gotta assemble your group. You know, they gotta have, you know, like a crossbow guy. And you gotta have your medic. You know, like G.I. Joe. Everybody's gotta have a code name. Now, here's the thing, Zane. It's really important. Obey the law. Right. He's read that chapter. Because here's the thing, Zane. Cops, a lot of times, the government in general, tend to be the last to know. So the problem is, Zane, if you run into some zombies, all right, and you just start lopping their heads off and then the cops roll up on you, all they're going to see is a bunch of human bodies, basically, with their heads missing. And if you're like, oh no, officer, zombies. Unless you crush the head. So I'm going to leave it to you and your group and your mom, and talk to your mom about what you think is the best weapon to chop off a zombie's head. Yes.
How do you know when it's time to leave? Like, you have a hideout and everything how you want it, and then you see zombies coming. You don't want to get surrounded, but you don't want to just.
Oh, how do you know when it's time to leave? Well, that's very important. Even if the first thing, you don't want to get out. If for some reason you don't get out before it happens, you want to stay put. Because there's going to be crazy zombies, and yahoos, and hippies, and everything's going to be shooting at everything. Alright? And Zane's going to be chopping heads off, and you don't want to get in his way. So, you have to have some sort of plan. You think, okay, well, they will surround me eventually, but will I have a ramp that I can bicycle over them and get out of the way? You've got to think about what your escape is. For example, don't be in a house where you can get easily surrounded and then you're stuck. All right? For example, houses on stilts. See, they don't. You guys don't understand. See, in the rest of the country, there's this thing called groundwater, and sometimes they have floods, and there's a lot of houses up on stilts. Things like that. You know, is there an underground passage? If not, build one. So then you know when it's time to get out. Someone said mobile homes. Just make sure they're mobile. Anyone else? Yes.
In an urban environment, is it true that traveling on foot would be the best mode?
In an urban environment, traveling on foot, yeah. I mean, or a bicycle. I don't know if you've ever been in New York, but they got bike messengers that can like go up walls. Like, they know what they're doing. All right, and if you study them, you'll be like, oh, I can totally do this. You can weave in and out, and you can duck anybody. Problem is, you know, obviously somebody might want your bike. And if there's more of them than you, give it to them. And just keep going. You know, because eventually they'll fight over it and kill each other. Anyone else? Yes?
What do you think about Walmart selling $7 machetes?
Walmart selling $7 machetes?
I actually think they're $6.88.
Okay. What's your name? Buck?
Yeah, I'm the guy with the chewing book.
Right. Buck, you can chew on your book. Buck, buy that $6.88 machete and whack it against a tree limb really hard. 500 times. And there's your answer. Anyone else? Yes, sitting next to Buck.
What other are you going to take to keep your sanity?
Oh, well, that's very important. And this is really important when you're choosing your group. You go off the point of sanity, okay? It doesn't matter what kind of physical skills people have. They can be a mechanic and a marksman and a neurosurgeon, but if on Z-Day they go, oh my God, we're all gonna die! That's not good. Make sure these people can stand up under pressure. Okay, so for sanity, look, you have to take whatever it is that, you know, you want. Okay, but I'm warning you, if you have your DVD copies of The Office and you don't have any power, you can't just shine a flashlight through them and expect to see it. Just remember, we live in a society where most things take electricity. There are these things called books. Maybe take one of them. You know? Yeah, Zombieland, the novel. Anyway, anyone else? Yes?
If you had to, could you eat a zombie?
Always one. Always one. Sir, what's your name? Right, Connor, we spoke before. But I never got your name.
Oh, I'm Shelby.
Hi, Shelby. You're out loud. That was awesome. Shelby, this is America, so everyone's entitled to make their own choices. When Z-Day happens, if Connor wants to take a big old bite out of them before they take a bite out of him, let him. Let's see what happens. Anyone else? Yes.
For training purposes, what would be the best zombie movie to watch?
Oh, for training purposes? Oh, easily. Anything by George Romero. Zane, how old are you? You've seen George Romero movies and you're 12.
Really take it.
Land of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, original.
Mom! Tell me about Thomas.
We need to be practical. He's on my team.
Okay, Mom. All right, here's the deal about Romero movies. They come the closest. Okay, now obviously in the later ones, Romero he's a storyteller. He has to have zombies' feelings and emotions, and that's cool. That's moving. And look, obviously some things in his movies aren't 100% accurate. Who saw Night of the Living Dead, the original? I know you have. Say, should probably show it before you go to bed at night. But remember Night of the Living Dead where the guy throws a Molotov cocktail out the window and it explodes, you know, and it gives people a chance to run? Okay, first of all, let's think realistically here. glass doesn't just shatter, okay? Especially when you throw it on the soft dirt. Don't believe me tonight? When you go home, throw a Snapple bottle at your friend. Okay? And if for some reason it hits a rock and it breaks, let's think about what this man has just done. He has just set fire to a bunch of dead leaves next to his old wooden house that he's nailed himself up in. And Connor, this is Connor, saying, fire has no loyalty. Okay, just so you know that. Just remember that. Fire, it's not your friend, not your enemy. It's an equal opportunity burner. So this is the thing about Romero's movies. That's probably the best to train to. Incidentally, in the new Dawn of the Dead, just don't try to turn an airport shuttle into an armored personnel carrier. Only this guy is allowed to do it. And the A-Team. And that's it. Anyone else? Yes, in the back.
If you kill the head zombie, will the other ones die?
Sir, I like that South Park episode too. Well, let's save that discussion for another day. Yes.
Basically has 2 roads in it. What would you say about getting out during quarantine?
Oh, you live in a city with 2 roads?
Yeah, we have 95 to 15, that's it.
And that's it. Oh, wait, are you saying that you live in a city in the middle of the harshest desert in North America? For some reason you were trapped? You couldn't even possibly carry enough water to get out on foot?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's true.
Well, if you're in a quarantine, don't try to leave. It's called a quarantine. Stay, go to a show, watch Carrot Top. Wait, do whatever it is you gotta do. Now, here's the thing, people. You might all want to pick up some desert survival skills. In fact, there's 2 shows about that. One, which is real, and one which isn't. And I won't say which is which. One is a Canadian, and it's just him with a camera, and he goes in the wilderness, and sometimes he fails miserably, and he's real. And another one is an Englishman, and he's very dramatic and graphic, and he's talking about how he's alone in the wilderness, and he's saying that to a cameraman that's following him, who probably has a few extra granola bars on him. So if you're going to just know which one to study. Anyone else? Yes, Zane's mom.
If you had to choose between a crowbar and a 501 trenching tool, which would you pick?
Happy Mother's Day, Zane. Well, ma'am, you see, it has to do with your physical strength versus your physical comfort level. I'm saying that, some people emotionally just aren't comfortable with an entrenching tool. Both are very useful, so you might want to, since there's going to be a group of you, one can have one and one can have the other. Yay. In the hat.
You told us who we want in our group. What kind of people should we specifically avoid here?
What kind? Everyone else. And trust me, in this country, in this species, there's no end of people you don't want. I don't know where to begin. How about everybody who's on VH1? Yes, sir.
For the sake of mobility, you talk about groups. What's the largest group you should have? This way, if you have too many, it's harder to feed, harder to move, harder to take care of. So,
well, actually, that's a good. I would say about 10, but it's fluid. It depends on if there's an extra skill. You guys remember in the new Dawn of the Dead, where coincidentally a nurse and a cop and a guy who owns a boat just happen to all be together. See, that's not the way it's going to work. All right, so let's say you got your group and you pick up some stragglers. Okay? And somebody's like, yeah, I'm a helicopter pilot. You're like, okay, cool. And some guy's like, I'm a hedge fund broker from Wall Street. You make the decisions you need to make. And incidentally, if you have to run across some know what to do. Yes.
Shouldn't you have a couple of those hedge fund brokers just to like, you know?
Oh, there's always one. There's always one who says, "Look, we know what you're saying. Should I bring along delaying bait?" Okay. Now listen, I'm not, this is America. Make this choice you want. Just stand up. What's your name?
Biggie.
Okay, just so you all know, if you're on his group, he's recruiting bait. It's now. Just so you all know. How are we doing on time? What time is it? Quarter to 8. We're at 15. Yes, in the back.
Do you believe that zombieism is primarily virally based? And if so, do you think the non-hippies might be developing a vaccine?
Oh, the non-hippies might be developing a vaccine against the zombies? Maybe. But if they do have a vaccine, well, then it'll probably get debated in Congress for 17 years, and Glenn Beck will say it's socialism, and then someone in Congress will go, "You lie!" And eventually it'll get voted down. So, moving on. Yes, ma'am.
Not cutting for temperature, would you say it's more advantageous to travel in the daylight or at night?
Well, not counting for temperature, that's a very good point. Well, here's the thing. Anyone else in the country, I would say daytime, because at night, see, they use their senses all the same. So you would be at a disadvantage at night because your primary sense would be cut off. In this climate, in this desert, you better travel at night. And you all might want to pull your resources and invest in a serious camel ranch. Anyone else? Yeah, in the back with the hand next to the pillow. Yeah.
What level is your World of Warcraft character?
Sir, I play Lord of the Rings online. Anyone else? And if you're on Lord of the Rings online, look out for Sardar Numspar. Yes, sir.
Would it be good to go on like in the ocean or something, or like in a lake?
Okay, what's your name?
Joseph?
Joseph. Joseph, you got it. Zombies don't swim. Sometimes they bloat up with gases and they flail around in the water. But lakes aren't as cool because they can climb up your anchor chain. But yes, Joseph, learn to sail. Think about getting a sailboat. Is that your father? Okay, sir, sailing classes, trips to the coast, boats. So when it happens, Joseph, you will be ready. You will sail.
Watch water rolls.
Oh no, Joseph made a really good point. Should I go to an island like Tahiti? See, Joseph, that's called first thought. That's where you thought, oh, a tropical island. I'll just go there and eat bananas and coconuts. It'll be cool. See, the problem is everyone else has thought about the same thing. An island, yes, Joseph, but an island no one wants to go to. Tonight, you and your dad will look at a map, and he's going to show you an island called Svalbard. Nobody goes there. Alright? And you'll learn a little geography, and so when it happens, you can take your family to Svalbard and brush up on your Norwegian and your Inuit. Anyone else? Yes?
When do we get our next book?
Oh, will I write a next book? Well, that's a very, very good question. Look, sir, I have another graphic novel coming out, not zombies, so you'll probably hate it and whatever. And then I'm writing a comic book series right now for G.I. Joe. And trust me, I can tell you what my catchphrase was that Hasbro wouldn't let me publish, which is, this time people are going to die.
What do you think of taking shelter in the mall?
What do I think of taking shelter in the wall? First thought.
Everybody.
Graveyard.
Graveyard? Who said graveyard? Stand up. Why is a graveyard it's safe?
Because they don't come out of the ground.
Exactly. They only come out of the ground in one movie he was in. In one movie did it come out of the ground. The worst zombie movie ever made. Return of the Living Dead. The minstrel show that set us back a century. The movie that did for zombies what Adam West did for Batman.